Good evening, this is Tommy Lackey, and it's Sunday evening, April 17th, and I thought we might just take a quick look here at the IWM, the ETF for the Russell 2000, and see how it's been performing recently. We're going to look at three different time spans from the 65-minute up to the weekly. We're going to start on the low side. A lot of people start on the weekly side, which I have glanced at, of course. But we're going to start on the shortest time frame and then work our way up. And as we look here at the 65-minute, we can see that it's been moving sideways for basically 2 days as the RSI has come back a little bit, but not really worked its way below 60. And the CFG has worked off a lot of its overbought reading and looks like it wants to hang around this 50 level for the moment. And so this still looks like it could have more upside if it can clear these highs, or if it pulls back below, say, this low right here. We've got 1209, so let's say if it breaks 112, we might go back and take a look at this gap right here. But so far, it's still looking up, and it looks strong. And we flip over to the right side, and this is a volatility stop chart that gives you something to kind of trade against over different time frames, and a lot of times will help you distinguish which way the markets are trending, as you can see with these runs here. But it also does have some choppiness, especially in the shorter time frames. But here it's on a buy signal after gapping up earlier in the week, and it looks like it's just consolidating that at the moment. Now, as we move up to the daily time frame, we can see it's starting to butt up against a pretty important looking trend line here off the highs from last June. And it comes down. This is the third day. It came up on the big day and it's moved sideways now for 2. And it's right up against that trend line, as well as this big gap close and the 200 SMA, which is not shown on this chart. But we will see that the MA bands that I use are now moving higher and seem to be providing some support on pullbacks. The RSI is in a bull range, and it's spending a good bit of the time above 60, which is a good sign. And so with this one looks like it's trying to regain some energy to break through this level. And if we look over here on the right in the volatility buy stop chart, we can see that after having 2 decent trends down, it looks like it's trying to start one to the upside. It moved up on February 29th is when it came above this particular signal on the daily, and it has been choppy but climbing ever since. So if we can get over this trend line here, it could be a good sign that we could make some more headway in the Russell 2000. And finally, as we move down to the weekly chart, we have this same trend line we're looking at again, which again shows the importance of it. But we can also see that the weekly has showed some strength this last week in trying to move above the MA bands. It's not there yet, but it's trying to move above there. And it is also right at the volatility buy stop over here, which is at 112.78. So if you're someone who was thinking about shortening it longer term, this might be a good spot until it closes weekly above this area. But it's also the scenario to where if it breaks up through that, it could continue to move because there's a lot of different potential resistance right in this area of confluence that if we can get through, it could provide some support to this thing to continue to move higher. It's going to be a tough area, though. It might take a little bit of time to get through. So let's keep a good eye on this level of the Russell 2000. As we look down here in the RSI, you can see this is still in an RSI bear range. Okay, has not moved its way back over 60, which would be our signal for a new bull range. But we are seeing the 9 SMA move up through the 40, which shows things are turning some and shows the strength that we obviously see in price. But one of the good signs here is that the CFG went up to overbought and did not pull back heavily. It's starting to try to hang out up here and continue to allow for a little bit of a support there on momentum as well. So again, 112.78 we want to be looking at. Let's see how things go and continue to pay close attention to the Russell, because when it does lead, it's often good for the markets. Have a great evening, and hope everybody has a good week.